Everything that we've championed, everything that we've loved, everything that you thought was cool about black culture that you held me accountable for a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, is now all coming crumbling down. And I want to see y'all have that same energy. I want to see y'all have that same energy. The same energy that you had when you thought that this was the way in which you wanted to raise your son and your daughter, and you modeled your lifestyle after it, and you thought that it was cool. And when you go to karaoke night, you sing the same songs. I want you to have the same energy now that you see it all come crumbling down. And the only people that are going to be left standing is the ones that stood on a square. And regardless of how you felt about them, they told the truth about it, and they still here to tell their story today. I want to see you have the same energy across the board. You thought it was cool when she was for the streets. But now that we understand that the majority of women are passing over diseases in the most popular cities that you want to move to, let me ask you a question. You still want to be there? Because now you're playing Russian roulette. Every woman that you talk to, think about it. Our communities are always the ones that's impacted the most. Not because the system is set up against you, but because you choose to embrace the things that's the worst for you. When the teacher came out the other day and she said, listen, your 5-year-olds is for the streets. You had the chick from Pound Town, Sexy Red, typing out the tweet and rebellious against it. You know why? Because the only thing that mattered is whether or not we embrace the culture and whether or not it's going to affect their bag. When Cardi B fought with Candace Owens and all of y'all turned against Candace Owens, and now Cardi B is literally word for word in her own language saying the same thing that Candace Owens was saying when she was actually taking her to task for endorsing President Biden. Come on now. When Candace Owens, when y'all turned against it and y'all said Candace Owens was a coon, I wonder if y'all got that same energy. The same energy now that Cardi B is literally saying the exact same thing that Candace Owens was saying when they were debating and going back and forth. And Candace Owens was standing on her square and saying that y'all are endorsing a man that literally wrote some of the most egregious laws that got more of y'all locked up. Listen, I'm releasing an interview with Kwame Kilpatrick over the next few days in clips, but then it's going to be available to the Patreon members uncensored. He talks in depth about every single thing that you guys could ever think of that's going on from a political perspective today. And he said that it's funny. He said, if you look at the arc, man, I don't want to release it. I don't want to talk about it right now. President Biden today was not the President Biden throughout his career that you know that then championed and then gave you these egregious laws that you guys all voted for, but because you chose to be ignorant, meaning that you were voluntarily ignorant, choosing to not educate yourself for what it is that you were voting for, you decided to elect the person that is holding you captive in your own cities. The very people that said vote or die, and they had all of the vote or die shirts on, that was Diddy and them. Now he's being accused by people that is coming out of the woodwork, including Cassie, Gene Deal, and all of these people, of doing some of the most egregious things behind the scenes. But at the same time, he was influencing your decision for what liquor you put in your system, the poison that you was putting in your system, and the votes that you decided to make that wasn't even in your best interest. You followed celebrities off a cliff just because they looked like you, and you still having conversations about what representation looks like instead of what the right decision to make for your family is. You still aligning. Listen, you rather listen to a chick on the internet, a single baby mama, tell you how it is that you need to align yourself and be on code than Martin Luther King himself that said that we need to align ourselves with people based off of the content of their character instead of the color of their skin. The very people that died for your right to even be able to vote and was arrested on your behalf, you threw them to the wayside and you embraced the rappers that told you that bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the... Your favorite heroes, they never apologized for what they did to your communities. They never apologize, and you never require for them to, but let it be somebody that don't look like you say something that upsets your feelings, even if they right, and you're going to try to take them to task, you're going to try to cancel them, and you're going to try to get them out of office. The very ones that you love, you celebrate. They sent their kids to the private school, and they sent your kid to prison that was following them. And they never even lived the life that they was preaching and that they was advocating for, but you celebrated the culture as though it was something that was best for you. You gatekeeped the very thing that was the worst for you when you think that it makes sense. Now we seeing even these content creators that's largely the same as the rappers before us, and they crashing out. And you love it and you celebrate it. We seen Hassan Campbell go out there, have a mental breakdown, a meltdown, and the clout chasing of the century situationship in order to get views, in order to get whatever it is clout that he wanted. And he leveraged the whole idea behind what Cassie filed on Diddy in a lawsuit in order to try to champion something else and go over into the hood and get his snot box rocked. And the whole time he had a camera up recording the whole thing in order for y'all to continue to be entertained by it. And you think it's cute. It's not a learning experience, it's a cute experience. So hungry for fame, so hungry for visibility, so hungry for some clout that he willing to put his own life on the line in the hood in order to make you guys entertained and you think it's cute. You bought more records when people was beefing in the rap community in order to have an East Coast, West Coast beef than ever before. Continued to fill up all of the prisons. You don't have to go to jail. You don't have to go to prison, but you made it cool to. And so now nobody got stripes unless they got a bunch of holes, went to prison a bunch of times, got a bunch of gunshots and bullet holes, and now you keeping it real. Now you keeping it real. How much more do you have to watch your entire infrastructure for what you thought was great in your community crumble before you go ahead and give yourself over to the thing that's best for you? And I don't know what's best for you. You're going to have to make that decision for yourself. You can hate me, but why would you hate me? And I'm very much the reflection of the thing that you should be championing for your children and for your community to be. Why would you hate the very thing that's actually trying to give you the game and help you to understand how you can move a little bit differently when it comes to what success is supposed to look like? I want to live forever. I don't want to die early. I don't want to die early for a color. You know, it's people still gang banging for colors and they don't even know where the foundation of that came from. You know, it's people that will kill you over a color that you're wearing in the hood and they will check you and y'all think that that's cool. Y'all celebrate that shit. Y'all celebrate it. You think it's cool to die over the color red or the color blue. So the textile companies can make a color on a bandana and you willing to die for it because you need some kind of therapy or you never had a father in your life. So the first person that showed you love, they sent you on your way. They made you sell drugs in your community. Now you gangbanging and you got tattoos all over your face. All because of what? Because of a color?